Well, welcome back, listeners, to Mosaic's Community Life and Podcast, episode 19. My name is Jane Teasdale, and I'm one of the co-owners of Mosaic Home Care and Community Resource Center. We provide care for people in their homes, in retirement homes, and long-term care, which takes the stress off the main family caregiver. I would like to welcome Sarah Fentum. She's the Marketing and Community Partnership Specialist from Elder Care Transitions. And Sarah has been to so many Mosaic's community events, from our fall events to our pizza making events to many, many different events. So sharing the information for the attendees that come to Mosaic, because we are a resource center and we do want to educate people on different services that will help them and their families. So Sarah, it's so lovely to have you finally on this podcast today. And
thank you, Jane. It's so nice to be here. Good morning, listeners.
Yeah. And Sarah, can you give us a little bit of background and your experience in working in this field and why you enjoy doing what you do?
Thank you, Jane. So my background career-wise is close to 30 years in sales and marketing and management. And in my personal life, I had spent a long time being my father's caregiver and helping seniors in my community, in my neighborhood in Midtown Toronto. And I really wanted to merge, after COVID, I really wanted to merge all those skills and experience and my talents and the things I'm passionate about with a career. And so I approached Elder Care Transitions because I had an amazing reputation in the GTA. And so now my job takes me all over the greater GTA. I'm in retirement homes all the time, working with seniors and their families. And it's really great to be around kind people and like-minded people who really want to support this vulnerable sector.
And I understand also you're across southwestern Ontario as well. So I just want to highlight that.
We are, yeah. Okay.
So Sarah, can you tell us a little bit about Elder Caring Transitions?
Thank you, Jane. So we pride ourselves on superior service to our clients. Elder Care Transitions has been in business for almost 15 years, and we are in the business of transitioning seniors from their homes to retirement homes. We facilitate the moves, the downsizing. We can even facilitate the sale of furniture, donation, disposal, delivery to family, and we also have storage facilities. So all the bases are covered with Elder Care Transitions. And so we like to help seniors. It's really a support system, obviously the move, but the support system with the seniors and their families during that transition.
So my understanding is you really take the stress and have it's a positive thing in working with the families and the client. It really takes the stress off the family caregiver. And for family caregivers or older persons that find this overwhelming, as it is, what points should they consider when hiring a downsizing company?
Well, that's a great question, Jane, and it's definitely very overwhelming at any stage. Moving is overwhelming at any stage, but certainly at this time. I think reputation is very important when choosing a downsizing or moving company. And as I mentioned, our years in the business and our reputation. It's also, I feel, I like working with this company being owner-operated. Our owners are very hands-on. They're involved in every aspect of the move and the downsizing and the engagement with the clients and their families. And I really enjoy that. I'm someone who likes to be involved in every part of it, and I like working with people that feel the same way. We have an excellent reputation with retirement homes. In fact, most of our move referrals come from retirement homes that would prefer when someone moves in that they work with Elder Care Transitions. It makes the transition seamless and stress-free for everyone.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I've listened to so many people and, families and even some of my friends and even myself. I lost my father many, many years ago to cancer. And, after he passed away, I was left with organizing everything in the house. And my brother lived in Vancouver, so he wasn't able to help. And so all the tools, he was still working. He passed away at 76, but he was still working. So he had all his office files in the crawl space. And all of his stuff and furniture, and so we had to go through everything, and I must say it was overwhelming and draining. Like, how are you going to handle cleaning out this 4-bedroom house with all the memories and stuff? So I wish I would have contacted somebody at that time. It was quite a while ago, and again, I didn't know at that time who to contact or what organizations did this.
Yeah, I understand. If I had a dime for every time someone said, "Oh, I wish I'd known when my mom passed, or my dad passed, or my aunt, or my grandmother," and so anyway, well, we hope that people know now. Every day, we hope that more people know about us, and we hope that we can help.
Yes.
And our movers are great. Our movers, we do police checks when we hire movers. Our movers, it's important to stress, our movers are our full-time employees. They're not like some moving companies where you're sort of hired that day, which is fine. But for us, they're our full-time employees. They're trained by us. They know there's an extra level of sensitivity and care when dealing with the senior community. And that's, I think, also very supportive, and also takes the stress away and makes it a little less overwhelming, that you're in good hands with what I like to call our dream team.
Yes.
Our dream teams, in our case, dream teams. And we own our own trucks. So that's also great. If I've had calls where people have said, "Can you come? Our moving company was supposed to rent a truck and didn't," and this sort of thing. And so owning our own trucks, I think, is also really key. The reliability also takes stress out of the move.
Yes.
And in fact, seeing our trucks, and I know you've seen them too.
Yes,
But
I have.
behind me, it's on our trucks, and people are always stopping me all over, because we're all over, the greater, I mean, it's redundant, but the greater GTA. And we're all over doing moves and downsizing and clear outs and picking up storage and delivering donations, like to family members. Sometimes there's deliveries of items to family members when someone's downsizing, and we do that. People are always texting me, "I saw your truck. I just saw your truck. I just saw your trucks." So it's fun.
And also, I'm looking at your banner behind you with the lovely lady with those amazing glasses. So that's on the truck that I know. And then I think just some points as well. I mean, you highlighted some of the points, but when somebody is moving from a large home that someone has lived in for many, many years, some people have lived 40, 50 years in their home. How do you provide person-centered care and compassion when dealing with older persons? And then how do you work out what furniture belongs they can take with them? I do know that you mentioned about the floor plans in the retirement homes. Mm-hmm. And if they can't take a precious item to them, how do you go about this as a company?
Yeah, great point. Well, again, we do start with a floor plan. Floor plan is provided by the retirement homes. We probably have most of them now anyway after all this time. If there's a new one, we request a floor plan. And this is just part of our service, the floor plan. But it's so key, because this detailed floor plan determines what will fit in the suite. And it's important that people bring what's precious to them, what they love. What are your favorite things? What do you like to look at every morning? What's your favorite painting? If you have 40 pieces of art and you can't bring them all, let's start with what's your favorite. What's the one you really need to see every day? We do this comprehensive floor plan, very detailed for the client, and this also helps us to eliminate things like tripping hazards and things like that. And we can focus on the amount of items people can bring, and when they see it all laid out, they get a better sense of what they can bring and what's best to perhaps rehome, if you will.
That's a good.
So, for example, thank you. So, for example, let's see what family would like to have. Let's start there. Yeah. What would family like? What would children like, or grandchildren like? Perhaps there's someone from your community or a neighbor that's always had their eye on one piece and you're not taking it with you. And then we move to donation within the community. You might have a particular group you participate with. And you'd like them to have something, maybe some chairs, some extra chairs they need, or something there's some art for their entranceway. And like I know at Mosaic, and you have your lovely lunches and your tea, there's all those beautiful teacups that have been donated and those beautiful teapots. There's an example. So we start with that, and we discuss what services we can provide. And again, we even have storage. So all of those services, and pretty much in that order, I'd say, starting with a floor plan, talking about what family likes, also you know, if it's possible to sell some of the items, donation, disposal, that sort of thing.
No, that's great to know. And how would somebody get in touch with Elder Care Transitions?
Well, thank you, Jane. So it's on the website, ectransitions.com. And that's transitions with an S. I always like to say that. And our phone number is 647-268-3295.
Thank you for that. And how would somebody start decluttering their home? As this takes time, energy, and as we stated, can be overwhelming for the individuals and family caregivers. So can you give some examples of that, Sarah?
Absolutely. I think going back to what family members would like to have. So you could start easily with just thinking about just one closet. If you don't want to start in the hall closet or your bedroom, you find it too disruptive, head down to the basement or just a closet you don't use very often, a linen closet. It's unlikely going to a retirement home that you'll need 7 or 8 sets of sheets.
Yeah.
And people usually have that, or sometimes, dozens and dozens of towels. Pick out your nicest towels, your favorite sheets. There are a lot of organizations in the community that need donations. So you could focus on that, where you want it to go, and then start pulling things out. I often will invite a friend over and make a cup of tea and say, look, I don't want your opinion on what I should keep and what I don't keep, but just sit there and give me some moral support. No. And I think that's sort of a fun way to start. And certainly making a date in your calendar. If you like to be organized and you want to feel a little less overwhelmed by it, baby steps. Just start somewhere. Start in one kitchen cupboard. You may or may not go to a retirement home that has an oven. So maybe the roasting pan is the first to go.
Yes.
And then you just start, you'll see it's very freeing, Jane, as I know, you and I have discussed this, it's very freeing. Once you start, maybe the first 15 minutes, half hour, you think, oh, I don't know what to get rid of. And once you're an hour in, you're like, that's going.
Yes.
So,
or if things are, with the pots and pans or the baking trays, sometimes they're scratched over time or, worn out. Why bring them, if they're in that condition? So really, I guess give yourself time and, as you said, book it in a calendar or start with one drawer at a time or one room at a time.
And of course, Elder Care Transitions, of course, is available to help with that process. But if you're starting on your own, just to get your mind around it, just start small. And again, it's very freeing.
Yeah. No, I must say, I think, with myself, I've moved from a house into a condo. And at that point, I decluttered. There isn't much. If something happens to me, and my husband or whatever, that it's limited amount of stuff. We've decluttered and we've made sure we don't have all this stuff. And I have a storage room that's organized as well. So my children, it makes it easier for them and it takes the stress off them as well.
I will tell you right now, as a child and as a parent and as someone being in this business, your children will thank you.
I hope so.
I'm sure they're very grateful. I know my child is.
Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, Sarah, we're coming to the end of our podcast, so I just would really like to thank you for coming on. I know we've been, trying to connect, for a while now, so I'm really happy that you came on, and I think we've had a great conversation. And usually I ask our guests to have a takeaway message to leave our listeners. Do you have one for us today?
Well, my favorite is just that, our slogan, which is we make change easy. Jane, we lift the heavy burden along with the heavy furniture.
I think that's straight to the point.
Yeah,
people should understand that. It's a very helpful organization to know about. We also have Elder Care Transitions in our resource center. So if anybody from Mosaic comes into our resource center for our programs, you can ask us about Elder Caring Transitions and we'll direct you to Sarah Fentum. I would like to thank those for attending us on our podcast today and YouTube channel. For more information on Mosaic, you can visit our website at www.mosaichomecare.com, and our telephone number is 416-322-7002. And this is Jane Teasdale signing off from Mosaic. Cheers.